If a married woman is showing interest, she won't say it directly, but her behavior will. Certain psychological patterns reveal when her feelings go beyond normal interaction. Today, we're breaking down the real signs that a married woman might actually like you based on behavior, emotional cues, and psychology, not assumptions. When a married woman begins to like someone outside her relationship, she rarely expresses it verbally. Instead, the first and strongest indicators surface through emotional cues, small but powerful signals that reveal she feels safe, understood, and emotionally aligned with you. These cues don't appear by chance. They develop gradually as she starts to associate you with a kind of emotional comfort she may not openly acknowledge. When a woman feels emotionally safe around a man, her behavior becomes noticeably different, especially in the way she communicates, shares, and responds during conversations. Emotional safety is one of the deepest forms of connection, and it's often the foundation of attraction without her actually saying anything directly. One of the first signs is her willingness to open up about personal matters. She begins to share stories, concerns, or emotional struggles that she doesn't usually tell others. This often includes things like her frustrations, dreams, regrets, and even parts of her life she keeps guarded. When a married woman starts trusting you with details that go beyond casual talk, she is demonstrating a psychological shift from surface-level interaction to emotional intimacy. She is not just talking, she is revealing layers of herself, something she would only do with someone she feels emotionally connected to. It may start with small disclosures, but these gradually evolve into deeper conversations that build a strong emotional bridge between the two of you. Another emotional cue is how she reacts to your emotions. When a woman likes you on an emotional level, she becomes more attentive to your mood. She notices when you seem quiet, stressed, or unusually happy. She asks questions that show genuine concern, not out of politeness, but because she is emotionally invested in your well-being. Her voice softens, her attention sharpens, and her responses become more thoughtful. This kind of emotional responsiveness doesn't happen unless she feels something meaningful. She begins to mirror your emotions, showing empathy and alignment, which is a major psychological indicator of attraction and emotional bonding. Her tone during conversations also changes. She becomes warmer, more patient, and more expressive when speaking with you. Even the way she laughs or listens reflects a deeper comfort level. Women naturally protect their emotional energy, so when she invests it in you through long conversations, thoughtful replies, or remembering small details about your life, it signals emotional involvement. She may remember things you said weeks ago, bring up a discussion from the past, or check on situations you mentioned casually. This shows she not only hears you but internalizes what you share, which is a major emotional cue of liking. Another significant emotional signal is the shift in her behavior when she seeks your presence during moments when she feels vulnerable. Emotional attraction often becomes clear when she turns to you during stressful or confusing times. She may reach out to talk, ask for advice, or simply vent about her day. When she chooses you as her emotional outlet, it reflects that she sees you as a safe and comforting space. This kind of reliance is rarely accidental. It grows from trust and emotional attachment. You'll also notice that she creates small emotional rituals with you, inside jokes, shared experiences, or recurring conversations that hold sentimental weight for her. These emotional micro-connections act like threads tying her closer to you, even if she never verbalizes it. When she looks forward to talking to you, smiles unconsciously when she hears from you, or feels relieved after speaking with you, these are strong emotional cues that she feels connected on a deeper level. Nonverbal communication is one of the strongest indicators of hidden attraction, especially when someone is trying not to express their feelings openly. A married woman who begins to develop interest rarely uses words to communicate her emotions. Instead, her body language and subtle physical cues reveal far more than she intends to show. These signals often happen unconsciously, driven by instinct and emotional chemistry rather than deliberate choice. Understanding these nonverbal cues helps you notice changes that may seem minor at first, but collectively reveal a deeper attraction forming beneath the surface. One of the most noticeable nonverbal signals is consistent eye contact. When a married woman likes someone, her eyes naturally linger longer than usual. She holds eye contact a fraction of a second more than she does with others. This extra second is meaningful because prolonged eye contact typically reflects connection and emotional openness. Even during conversations in group settings, you may notice her looking at you more than she looks at anyone else. Her eyes may search for yours during pauses, or she may glance at you quickly and look away when caught. These micro-expressions reveal an internal conflict, the desire to hide her feelings while being unable to fully suppress them. Another nonverbal cue is the way she positions her body around you. Attraction changes posture. She might lean slightly in your direction when speaking, angle her body so it faces you even when others are present, or orient her feet toward you without realizing it. Body orientation is one of the most honest indicators of interest because it is usually done subconsciously. Even if she tries to appear neutral, her body may naturally gravitate toward you. She may stand or sit closer than necessary, narrowing the physical space between you, an action she wouldn't take if she wanted emotional distance. You might also notice patterns in her facial expressions. A woman who likes someone often displays softer expressions around that person. She smiles more and her smile appears genuine, reaching her eyes. Her face becomes more animated, showing excitement or warmth when you enter the room. These expressions may seem small, but emotional psychology shows that the face responds to internal feelings even when the mind tries to stay composed. If her eyes brighten or her entire expression shifts when she sees you, it's a significant nonverbal sign of emotional attraction. Physical gestures can also reveal her feelings. She may play with her hair while talking to you, adjust her clothing, or unconsciously touch her neck or jewelry. These gestures indicate heightened self-awareness, which often happens when a woman is around someone she finds attractive. They are not always deliberate flirtation, but rather a natural response driven by the desire to appear presentable or composed in front of someone who matters to her. She may also mirror your gestures, crossing her arms when you do, matching your tone, or adopting similar movements. Mirroring is a strong psychological cue indicating emotional alignment and connection. Another revealing nonverbal signal is her physical proximity. She may stand closer than necessary during conversations, walk beside you instead of behind or ahead, or position herself near you in social settings. This closeness shows comfort and an unconscious desire to be near you, even if she never verbalizes it. She might not touch you directly, especially if she is cautious, but her physical presence will show an undeniable shift. Even her nervousness becomes a nonverbal message. If she seems flustered, plays with objects, fidgets slightly, or becomes unusually shy around you, these reactions often reflect emotional tension and suppressed attraction. People do not get nervous around someone they are indifferent to. They get nervous around someone who has emotional impact on them. One of the clearest psychological indicators that a married woman may like someone is the shift in her behavior when she interacts with him compared to how she behaves around others. Human behavior naturally adapts to emotional states, and when feelings are involved, even if they are hidden or unspoken, the body and mind begin to react differently. These changes might appear subtle on the surface, but they are significant because they reveal emotional investment. When she treats you differently, even in small ways, it shows that you occupy a different place in her mind than the people around her. One noticeable change is the level of attentiveness she displays. A woman who feels drawn to someone often becomes more present and engaged during interactions with that particular person. She listens more carefully, remembers details from previous conversations, and responds in a way that shows she is mentally invested. Her reactions are more animated, and she appears genuinely interested in what you say. In contrast, her conversations with others may seem shorter, more practical, or less emotionally involved. This contrast highlights where her attention flows naturally and where she feels a deeper connection. Another behavioral shift appears in how she adjusts her tone and energy. Around most people, she might maintain a controlled, polite tone, but when she talks to you, her voice may become softer, warmer, or more expressive. Her energy shifts depending on how you respond to her. If you seem excited, she matches that excitement. If you speak calmly, she mirrors that calmness back to you. These emotional adjustments reflect attunement, a psychological state that occurs when someone is emotionally aligned with another person. This alignment does not happen randomly. It is driven by interest and emotional attraction. Her behavior can also become more thoughtful and considerate around you. She may go out of her way to help you, check on you, or offer support in situations where she would normally stay uninvolved. For example, she might notice when you're tired and ask if you're okay, offer assistance before you even request it, or change her schedule slightly just to accommodate a conversation with you. These actions show that you matter to her on a personal level, and she is willing to exert effort to maintain a connection. You may also see a difference in how she reacts emotionally around you. Women often manage their emotional reactions carefully, especially in social or professional settings. However, if she likes you, her emotional responses may become more intense. She may laugh more freely at your jokes, smile more often, or show signs of nervous excitement. Interestingly, she may also become more sensitive to your words. A compliment from you might affect her more than usual, and criticism, even mild, may impact her more deeply. This emotional sensitivity is a sign that she places value on how you perceive her. Another behavioral change appears in the way she manages personal boundaries. Around others, she may behave formally or maintain a certain distance, but with you, those boundaries can become more relaxed. She may initiate conversations more often, start small talks that lead to deeper discussions, or seek your presence during moments when she feels overwhelmed or bored. She might linger a little longer after a conversation ends or find reasons to extend interactions. These subtle attempts to stay connected reveal that she enjoys your presence and subconsciously seeks it out. Her behavior in group settings also provides strong clues. In a group, she may still direct most of her attention toward you without making it obvious. She might glance at you while someone else is speaking, position herself closer to where you are sitting, or subtly monitor your reactions during discussions. When she speaks, she may look at you first for validation or reaction. When she laughs, she may glance toward you instinctively. These patterns highlight where her emotional focus lies, even when she tries to act naturally in front of others. When a married woman begins to develop feelings for someone outside her relationship, one of the strongest indicators is the way her boundaries shift. Boundaries are the invisible rules people use to protect their emotional space, maintain loyalty, and preserve balance in their relationships. A married woman normally keeps her boundaries firm, especially with other men, to avoid emotional confusion or misunderstandings. But when she likes someone, these boundaries gradually weaken, not intentionally, but because emotional attraction influences her behavior more than logic does. One of the first boundaries she crosses is the way she communicates. Instead of keeping conversations limited to basic or polite topics, she begins discussing more personal matters. She may share details about her inner world, her disappointments, or her emotional struggles. She might talk about things she normally reserves for those closest to her. When she discusses her marriage, her insecurities, or her frustrations, she is revealing a deeper level of trust. Sharing emotionally intimate information is a boundary-crossing behavior, and it indicates that she views you as someone who understands her in ways others do not. Another boundary she may cross is the frequency and timing of communication. A woman who is trying to maintain a safe distance will usually avoid excessive contact. However, if she likes you, she might start texting or calling at times that are unusual for a married woman. This could include late-night conversations, long message exchanges, or reaching out during vulnerable moments. When she communicates with you at times she would normally reserve for her partner or for privacy, it shows that she is prioritizing emotional closeness with you. The consistency of her contact, especially when it aligns with emotional needs, indicates a shift in her boundaries. Compliments become another form of boundary crossing. Most married women are careful about the type of compliments they give men to avoid misunderstandings. If she begins complimenting your appearance, personality, or qualities in a more expressive way, it reveals growing attraction. She notices things she wouldn't normally point out. Her compliments may become more detailed, personal, or emotionally charged. This kind of attention is not casual. It shows she is seeing you in a different light and feels safe enough to express it, even indirectly. Time is another boundary she crosses. A married woman is usually protective of where and how she invests her time. If she begins making intentional efforts to spend time with you, even when it isn't necessary, it's a strong sign of emotional interest. She might find reasons to meet, run errands near your location, or stay longer during conversations. She may show up in places where she knows you will be or arrange situations that allow interaction. These actions reflect not only interest but also a willingness to shift her routine for the sake of connection. Another noticeable boundary shift is her emotional dependence. She may start seeking your reassurance, approval, or guidance. She asks for your opinion more often, values your feedback, or comes to you when she is unsure about something. Emotional reliance is not something a married woman develops easily outside her relationship. If she begins turning to you for support and comfort, it shows she has crossed the emotional line where you become a source of safety and validation. She may also let physical boundaries soften without fully realizing it. This does not always mean physical touch, but rather comfort with close proximity. She may stand closer than before, allow her personal space to shrink around you, or remain in your presence even after the conversation naturally ends. Physical closeness without discomfort signals trust and attraction. It shows that she feels drawn to your presence in a way that goes beyond normal social interaction. Finally, she may cross boundaries by prioritizing your importance over social norms. She might defend you in conversations, become protective of you, or show sensitivity if you seem distant. These behaviors reveal emotional territory she is not consciously guarding anymore, allowing her feelings to guide her actions even when she tries to remain discreet. When a married woman begins showing signals of attraction towards someone outside her relationship, the behavior is usually driven by deeper psychological reasons rather than simple curiosity or intentional flirtation. Most of these signals come from emotional needs, subconscious desires, or unmet areas of her life that she may not openly acknowledge. Human psychology works in subtle ways, especially when it comes to connection and attachment, and these underlying factors often explain why her behavior shifts in noticeable patterns. Understanding these psychological reasons provides clarity on why she may act differently around you, even if she tries to maintain control over her emotions. One major psychological reason is the need for emotional validation. Every human being, regardless of gender or marital status, craves appreciation, understanding, and emotional acknowledgement. If she feels emotionally overlooked in her marriage or simply misses being seen, understood, or admired, she may be drawn to someone who offers that missing validation. Even small gestures like listening attentively, appreciating her efforts, or showing kindness can activate a strong emotional response. This validation doesn't have to be romantic for her to develop feelings. It simply fills a psychological gap that has been left unaddressed. Another psychological factor is the desire for connection and emotional resonance. People naturally gravitate toward those who match their emotional frequency. If she feels that you understand her better, communicate more clearly, or offer the type of emotional presence she wishes she had more of, the connection deepens. This emotional resonance can make her feel alive, valued, and emotionally safe, which may subconsciously pull her closer. She might not intend to form a bond, but her emotions respond to the environment where she feels understood. A married woman may also show signals because of the psychological impact of novelty and contrast. Over time, long-term relationships can become routine. This doesn't mean her marriage lacks love, it simply reflects human nature. When someone new enters her life who brings different energy, perspective, or emotional stimulation, it creates a contrast that can feel refreshing. People often become more aware of what they enjoy when they experience something new. This contrast activates curiosity, engagement, and emotional excitement, making her more responsive toward the person who brings that fresh emotional dynamic. Another reason is unmet emotional needs. She may not feel supported, heard, or valued in her current relationship, even if she remains committed to it. When she encounters someone who treats her with kindness, appreciates her presence, or pays attention to her thoughts and emotions, it fulfills psychological needs she may not even realize she is missing. This fulfillment naturally creates attachment. The mind tends to gravitate to spaces where emotional energy feels reciprocated or nourished. Stress and emotional overwhelm also play a strong role. When a woman is going through challenges, personal, marital, or emotional, she may unconsciously turn toward the person who feels comforting. Emotional support becomes a powerful bonding force. If she finds herself confiding in you during stressful times, it indicates that psychologically she associates you with safety, peace, and emotional relief. This association becomes a strong emotional link, often stronger than logical reasoning. Another psychological reason is the need for self-expression. Some women feel emotionally restricted or unable to express their true personality in their marriage due to responsibilities, expectations, or years of routine. When she meets someone with whom she can be more expressive, open, or authentic, this stimulates psychological freedom. That freedom becomes attractive because it gives her space to feel like herself again. She may show signals not because she is intentionally seeking attention, but because she feels emotionally liberated in your presence. Finally, one of the strongest psychological drivers is the human tendency to seek comfort where emotions feel balanced. If your presence reduces her anxiety, lifts her mood, or makes her feel emotionally seen, the mind naturally forms attachment cues. Even if she never verbalizes it, her behavior begins to reflect these internal shifts, creating signals that reveal her growing emotional interest. When a married woman begins taking emotional or behavioral risks around you, it is one of the strongest indicators that her feelings have moved beyond casual interest. Risk-taking doesn't always mean dramatic actions. Sometimes the most telling risks are subtle shifts in her choices, responses, or priorities. These risks reflect an internal conflict between her existing commitment and the emotional pull she feels towards someone new. Although she may not speak about it openly, her actions reveal that she is stepping outside her comfort zone, often without fully realizing the psychological implications. One significant risk-taking sign is when she starts prioritizing you in ways that interfere with her normal routines. Married individuals typically maintain predictable patterns due to responsibilities and commitments. If she begins adjusting her schedule to align with yours, making time to talk even when she is busy, or finding ways to be available when she knows you might reach out, she is stepping into risky emotional territory. This shift shows that you are becoming important enough for her to rearrange parts of her life, a sign of meaningful emotional investment. Another risk-taking behavior is secrecy, subtle but intentional. It may appear in small ways such as hiding her phone during your conversations, clearing chat history, or being cautious about who sees her interacting with you. This secrecy isn't necessarily motivated by wrongdoing. Often it is driven by the fear of her feelings being discovered. She may not fully understand why she is being protective of her interactions with you, but her instinct to protect the connection signals emotional seriousness. When someone begins guarding a relationship from outside judgment, it means that relationship holds emotional value. She may also take risks through physical closeness. Even minor actions, such as sitting beside you when other seats are available, walking near you, or leaning closer during conversations, carry emotional weight. Physical proximity is one of the most instinctive ways humans express interest. When she allows herself to break typical boundaries of personal space, even slightly, it indicates she feels drawn to your presence. For a married woman, allowing this closeness is a risk because it creates deeper emotional bonding, but it also reveals her growing comfort and attraction. Another risky behavior is emotional transparency. If she begins sharing thoughts she would normally keep private, such as her feelings of loneliness, dissatisfaction, or unspoken desires, she is crossing a boundary that carries emotional consequences. Sharing vulnerable emotions creates intimacy. For her, this intimacy is risky because it exposes her inner world, but she still chooses to share it because she feels emotionally connected to you. Vulnerability is one of the clearest markers of deepening interest, especially when it breaks the emotional boundaries she normally maintains. Defending you or supporting you in ways that could be perceived as unusual by others is another sign of emotional risk-taking. She may stand up for you in conversations, go out of her way to make you feel appreciated, or prioritize your perspective over others. This can be subtle, like agreeing with your ideas more often, or bold, like choosing your side in disagreements. These actions show loyalty, and loyalty towards someone outside the marriage is a psychological risk she may not consciously evaluate. Her reactions to you also become more emotionally charged. She may feel nervous, excited, overly attentive, or unusually affected by your words. Emotional intensity is risky because it reflects internal struggle. She might overthink your messages, wait for your replies more eagerly than she should, or feel disappointed when you seem distant. These emotional risks show that she has formed a psychological attachment, even if she tries to appear composed on the outside. Another powerful sign is when she imagines scenarios involving you, whether in the context of support, companionship, or emotional connection. This mental involvement is risky because it shifts her emotional loyalty. Even without acting on it, imagining what-if situations shows that her feelings have crossed from passive interest into emotional depth. Internal fantasies or future-oriented thoughts are strong indicators of emotional investment. Finally, she may take the risk of expressing subtle jealousy. This may appear in indirect comments, sudden changes in tone when you mention other women, or increased attention when she feels threatened. Jealousy, even in its mildest form, signals emotional attachment because it reflects fear of losing connection, even if the connection isn't openly defined.